Hello everyone, welcome back to 360 on History. Please check out our website 360onhistory.com. Join us on our YouTube channel 360 on History, and of course, check out all our social media and follow us there. Today we are going to talk about something that is not as popular as Stonehenge, but looks a lot like it. This is known as Seahenge. So, the summer solstice occurs on June 20th or 21st in the Northern Hemisphere. And of course, no site is more popular to see the sunset than Stonehenge in England. But Seahenge is another structure that was discovered in England as well. It was discovered in 1998, and Seahenge is a 4,000-year-old structure revealed by shifting sands on the North Norfolk home beach on the Norfolk coast. Archaeologists have estimated it to have been built around 2049 BC. A guy named John Lorimer stumbled upon the upturned tree stump as well as a Bronze Age axe. He informed Norwich Castle Museum, after which Seahenge was excavated. It got the moniker Seahenge because it resembled the more famous Stonehenge in Wiltshire, although it was built on the beach. During the Bronze Age, this beach was not sandy, but it was a salt marsh. The mysterious structure was positioned in such a way that the surrounding dunes and mud flats protected it from sea intrusion. And gradually, over the course of 4,000 years, the sea rose, encroaching into the land upon which Seahenge stood, eventually covering the peat that was preserving the henge timber pillars, protecting it from natural decay. The whole structure comprises of an upturned tree stump encircled by 55 closely fitted oak posts. There is a second ring adjacent to it, centered around 2 oak logs laid flat, also from the same time period. The first structure is known as Home 1 and the second is known as Home 2 after the beach on which it was found. Local and national controversy surrounded Home 1 when English Heritage decided to fund the Norfolk Archaeological Unit to remove the timbers from the beach. Now, this was done to avoid damage that the sea could cause to the timbers. Basically, experts were of the view that if it had been left in situ, it would have gradually deteriorated. Furthermore, its location next to the Home Dunes Natural Reserve meant that crowds arriving to see Seahenge would cause severe damage and disturbance to protected birds and other wildlife in the nature reserve. Though the timbers had been protected by peat, they immediately began to decay from seawater and the effects of tidal drying and wetting once they were excavated. So they were quickly transported to the Bronze Age Centre at Flat Fen in Peterborough and cleaned in fresh water tanks. After details were recorded using laser scanning technology, they were then moved to the Mary Rose Trust in Portsmouth, where again they were cleaned and vacuum freeze-dried. This was all done to protect them. Now, no one really knows what Seahenge was used for, although some researchers have indicated that the site was erected to mark death of individuals. It was surmised that dead bodies were laid upon the upturned tree stump so that birds and animals could eat the flesh and bones. Of course, we can never exactly know what its actual use was. Subsequently, a new study just published this year in May 2024 has concluded that Seahenge and the adjacent circle Home 2 could have been constructed during an extremely cold period as part of a ritual to invite back warmer weather. University of Aberdeen researcher Dr. David Nance, who conducted the study, says that he considered the archaeology of the sites together with climatic and environmental data, astronomic and biological evidence, and regional folklore and toponymy. Dr. Nance explains, quote, Dating of the Seahenge timbers showed they were felled in the spring, and it was considered most probable that these timbers were aligned with sunrise on the summer solstice. We know that the period in which they were constructed 4,000 years ago was a prolonged and a period of decreased atmospheric temperatures and severe winters and late springs, placing these early coastal societies under stress. It seems most likely that these monuments had the common intention to end this existential threat, but they had different functions. Unquote. He also suggests that the alignment of Seahenge with sunrise on the summer solstice indicates that its function was to mimic the pen described in folklore for an unfledged cuckoo with the intention to keep the bird singing and thereby to extend the summer. To honor the dead, to extend the summer, it could be any of these things. As Dr. Nance adds, summer solstice was the date when, according to folklore, the cuckoo, symbolizing fertility, traditionally stopped singing, returned to the other world, and the summer went with it. The monument's form appears to imitate two supposed winter dwellings of the cuckoo remembered in folklore, a hollow tree or the bowers of the other world, represented by the upturned oak stump at its center. This ritual is remembered in the myth of the pen cuckoo, where an unfledged cuckoo was placed in a thorn bush and the bird was walled in to extend the summer, but it always flew away. Unquote. For home too, the second adjacent ring, he points to the legends of sacred kings described in Iron Age Ireland and Northern Britain, who were sacrificed if misfortune fell on the community, as happened at home next the sea, in an attempt to appease the goddess of Venus to restore harmony. Dr. Nance also said, quote, evidence suggests that they were ritually sacrificed every 8 years at Samhain, now Halloween, coincident with the 8-year cycle of Venus. The fixtures in home too that were thought to hold a coffin are oriented towards sunrise on Samhain in 2049 when Venus was still visible. Both monuments are best explained as having different functions and associated rituals, but with a common intent to end the severely cold weather. End quote. So, they are all kinds of folklore and legends associated with the two circles, all of which seemingly have to do with ending the severe winter that the community was facing at that time, and all kinds of local lore is associated with it as such. No matter what their purpose, though, the true structures sure are enigmatic. Hopefully, the timbers will give up more information with further research and analysis. The original tree stump and timbers can be found at Lynn Museum, which also houses a life-sized replica. So a good opportunity to go and see them if you happen to find yourself in that area. Thank you for joining me on 360 on History, and I'll see you again next time.